The most recent statistics on religion in Rwanda were published by the U.S. government in 2013, yet the source information dates back to the National Census of 2002, which reports that 56.9% of the Rwanda's population is Roman Catholic, 26% is Protestant, 11.1% is Seventh-day Adventist, 4.6% is Muslim, 1.7% claims no religious affiliation, and 0.1% practices traditional indigenous beliefs. The figures for Protestants include the growing number of members of Jehovah's Witnesses and evangelical Protestant groups. There is also a small population of Baha'is. There has been a proliferation of small, usually Christian-linked schismatic religious groups since the 1994 genocide. Current context: foreign missionaries and church-linked non-governmental organizations of various religious groups operate in the country. Foreign missionaries openly promote the religious beliefs, and the government welcomes the development assistance. The Constitution of Rwanda provides for freedom of religion, and the government generally respects this right in practice. Local government officials sometimes detain Jehovah's Witnesses for refusing to participate in security patrols. In 2007, the U.S. government received no reports of societal abuses or discrimination based on religious belief or practice. History: Colonial Period. Although the ethnic divisions and tensions between Hutu and Tutsi predate the colonial era, the Organization of African Unity report on the genocide states, in the colonial era under German and then Belgian rule, Roman Catholic missionaries, inspired by the overtly racist theories of 19th-century Europe, concocted a destructive ideology of ethnic cleavage and racial ranking that attributed superior qualities to the country's Tutsi minority. Since the missionaries ran the colonial-era schools, these pernicious values were systematically transmitted to several generations of Rwandans. When the Roman Catholic missionaries came to Rwanda in the late 1880s, they contributed to the Hamitic theory of race origins, which taught that the Tutsi were a superior race. The Church has been considered to have played a significant role in fomenting racial divisions between Hutu and Tutsi, in part because they found more willing converts among the majority Hutu. 1994 genocide. An estimated 800,000 Rwandans died during ethnic violence over a brief span of 100 days between April and June 1994. Most of the dead were Tutsis, and most of those who perpetrated the violence were Hutus. The genocide started after the death of the Rwandan President Juvenal Habyarimana, a Hutu, in the shooting down of his plane above Kigali Airport on 6 April 1994. The full details of that specific incident remain unclear. However, the death of the president was by no means the only cause of the mayhem. Timothy Longman has provided the most detailed discussion of the role of religion in the Rwandan genocide in Christianity and Genocide in Rwanda, published in 2010. Longman argues that both Catholic and Protestant churches helped to make the genocide possible by giving moral sanction to the killing. Churches had long played ethnic politics themselves, favoring the Tutsi during the colonial period, then switching allegiance to the Hutu after 1959, sending a message that ethnic discrimination was consistent with church teaching. The church leaders had also long had close ties with the political leaders, and after the genocide began, the church leaders called on the population to support the new interim government, the very government supporting the genocide. At the same time, churches did not uniformly support the genocide. In the period leading up to the genocide, 19 1990 to 1994, major splits emerged within most churches between moderates who promoted democratic change and conservatives allied with the Habyarimana regime. Many of the clergy were Tutsi, and they generally supported democratic reform, but many moderate Hutu within the churches supported reform as well. Churches provided major support to the formation of the new human rights groups that emerged in the early 1990s. When the genocide began in 1994, some clergy and other church leaders opposed the violence, even at the risk of their own lives. Some individual members of the religious community attempted to protect civilians, sometimes at great risk to themselves. For example, Mgr. Thaddeus Tihiniwa of Cyangugu preached against the genocide from the pulpit and tried unsuccessfully to rescue 3 Tutsi religious brothers from an attack, while Senior Felicitas Nitashega of the Auxiliaries de l'Apostolate in Gisenyi smuggled Tutsi across the border into Zaire before a militant militia executed her. In retaliation, in her book Left to Tell, Discovering God in the Rwandan Holocaust, Immaculée Ilibagiza, a Tutsi woman, describes hiding with 7 other Tutsi women for 91 days in a bathroom in the house of Pastor Murinzi for the majority of the genocide. At the St. Paul Pastoral Center in Kigali, about 2,000 people found refuge and most of them survived due to the efforts of Fr. Celestin Hakizimana. This priest intervened at every attempt by the militia to abduct or murder the refugees in his center. In the face of powerful opposition, he tried to hold off the killers with persuasion and bribes.